On the 21st of October 1966, a mountain of coal waste slid down and engulfed a junior school in Aberfan, South Wales, killing 121 children. The Rev Irving Penberthy was there on that morning and witnessed the horrors. He has been very silent about it over the 50 years, but now he feels that it's time to open up. He's going to be interviewed by his daughter-in-law, Frances Penberthy.
Grandad, I'm so impressed that you go cycling every Saturday afternoon. Do you mind reminding us how old you are?
Well, I'm 85.
85 and cycling every week.
Yeah, well, when I retired, I was having trouble with my knees, and I took up cycling, and I enjoyed it so much that now every Saturday afternoon I go cycling, and I don't miss very often. I enjoy it immensely.
So, Dad, can you tell us all about the Aberfan disaster? What happened?
Well, of course, it was a long time ago, but it's something that I will never forget. It was a Friday morning, and for about a week beforehand it had been rain, and on the Friday morning, just after 9 o'clock, after the children had gone into the school and had their assembly, the coal tip up on the top on the mountain, tip number 7, it virtually exploded because of a build-up of water underneath it. And all the slurry, which was not just dust, it was dust and water, came tumbling down the mountainside and over the school, over the junior part of the school, the younger part, and 3 classes were enveloped, and so 121 children lost their lives, swallowed up by this terrible
and can you remind
avalanche.
us what year that was?
It was 1966, October the 21st, 1966. It is impressed upon
I'm sure it
my
is.
mind.
So, Dad, why was the coal tip there in the first place?
Well, of course, there's a lot of muck that is come up from the pit, as well as good coal, and when it's all washed and separated, all this muck, which they call slurry when it's mixed with water, is taken on buckets to the top of the mountain, and there were 6 tips already on the top of the mountain, and they should have done the 7th tip on the crown of the mountain, but just to save money they tipped it on the shoulder of the mountain and tipped it on a spring, which the old men remembered playing in as boys. They knew there was a spring there, but nobody expected that it would produce such a volume of water. But as I said, it had rained solid for about a week beforehand.
Had anybody been warning about the danger?
Yeah, many warnings, but of course everybody said, oh, there's no real danger. If the tip does slip, it will never go very far. But there were 3 things they had not reckoned with. The first was all the water that built up underneath the tip. The second was the heavy mist that enveloped the whole of the valley. If there hadn't been mist, they would have seen the tip, the slurry coming down. And then the third thing was that somebody had stolen the telephone line from the tip to the colliery.
So what you're saying is that if there hadn't have been a mist that day, there would have been some warning?
Oh yes, everybody would have, and the children going to school, and people would have seen it coming down the mountainside. Because in the school, the teachers calmed the children, saying, oh, it's only a bit of thunder. So, I mean, it must have made a noise. Yeah, and of course it wasn't thunder. Then it came smashing through the windows.
And so was the mountain right next to the school? Was there nothing in between?
Half a mile.
Half a mile. So what did it have to cover to get to the school?
Well, half a mile to come.
What was in that half a mile?
Oh, mountainside. There was one farm, which of course was very quickly enveloped.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the phone was stolen. If the phone hadn't have been stolen, was there anybody there that could have raised the alarm?
Oh, of course, yes. There were 3 men up on the tip. working the digger that shifted all the muck around. And if the telephone line had been there, they would have phoned the colliery, because it took 5 minutes for the avalanche to come down and reach the school. But 3 times this line had been replaced and somebody had stolen the copper wire, which was valuable at that time.
Yes.
And if that line had been there, the alarm would have been given, the colliery would have warned the school, the children would have been taken out, disaster averted.
So what did these 3 men do?
Well, of course, one, he ran down the mountainside as fast as he could, which was quite a rugged landscape, but he couldn't run faster than the avalanche, and he had to stop and watch all this muck go over the school. Terrible moment for him.
Thanks so much, Stan, for filling me in on the facts of it. What I'd love to do is head home now and maybe find out a bit more about what your personal involvement in it all was.
Yes, I haven't spoken much about it over the years, but this year I realised that it's time that I did open up.